So now it is the following day, and you guys are all waking up at the Zorn Oasis.
What happened to my zombie pyramid that I had built?
It is still erected.
Excellent!
You guys have now woken up at the little kind of homely area you have at the Oasis. Cham and Kane's character are out fishing. Arch, you're examining your pyramid. Vash is playing with the panda. So you guys are doing that. Raka, I guess you're just kind of playing fetch with your griffin. Lorna returns and approaches all of you to gather around because she has information on the princess and where you might be able to find her.
I'm immediately there.
So she has all of you guys gather around and basically explains to you that through some of her contacts, she's been able to track down that there is a place you may be able to get information that can lead you to the princess. And essentially there is a Thieves Guild outpost that is near the area, and they're probably your best bet for getting information on where the convoy went with the princess after the whole debacle at the northern gate where you guys almost died. So she says that it's not too far away. It's only about maybe like a 3 or 4 hour ride to the north. And she asks if any of you guys want to come with to represent, as long as she is also coming as well.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm just sitting on the barrel like ribbit.
Is that a yes or a no?
Ribbit means whatever ribbit means. It probably means yes.
If it gets on a horse, it can come with us. He looks over to anybody else. Raka, are you going with him as well? And Vash, or are you going to stay and play with Ling Ling?
You want me to go and talk to rabble? Absolutely not.
It's your decision. You can stay here and play with the panda if you wish.
Second thought. Wherewith, off, lead the way.
Fair enough, Paladin. So, Raka, you're going to go. Cham, you're going to go. Velnos, are you going to head along with them as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna head along.
Okay, and Vash, are you also coming? So, so all you guys are going to travel to this outpost. I'm going to do a quick roll on the dice spot just to see if anything pops up. I doubt anything will. Ooh, 18, okay. It's a bit of a rough ride. There's some storms and stuff on the way, but you do manage to make it there. It's probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon by the time you actually get there, because it took you a little while to get organized and stuff like that. So you guys do arrive there, and Lorna walks inside. You guys can choose what you want to do at this point.
Little Frog, could you go and check to make sure this girl is on the level?
So what you're telling me is you want me to follow her stealthily, see if she's one of us. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am.
I'm gonna stealthily follow her.
Okay, roll for stealth.
That's a 15 addition to move silently plus 13.
So that's a 28. Okay, yes, you do successfully move silently behind her, and you do manage to get inside without being seen by anybody. Is there any place, once you get inside of the building, you notice that it's basically kind of like a rundown trading post. It's not very large. There's a bar, there's a few tables. It's kind of like a saloon almost. It does appear to have a raised floor, and you can tell that there is some kind of a foundation underneath, so there's probably a basement. And you can see basically all the way up to the roof, so there is no attic. There's a couple little spaces up there for like storage and stuff like that, and there are some tables in the room, so you can pick where you would like to navigate your character in terms of a hiding spot.
So where is she right now?
She is walking up to the bartender, guy that is behind the counter, or the bartender or the tradesman.
Is there any rafters?
Yes, there are some rafters that are up above, and there are some very loose storage areas, like kind of like a little like walkway without a railing.
Obviously I'm gonna jump up, and that's a plus a 19.
So you make the jump. So you jump up there. So because of your stealth roll, you're hidden up there, so you can observe as you please. Cham is hiding inside. Arch has sent him in to do the secret reconnaissance. Is anybody going to go in incognito or otherwise?
I'm going to walk in shortly after I see the frog disappear.
So the rest of you, are you going to go in normally, or are you going to try and hide or sneak around or do stuff outside?
Nothing and move silently. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna walk in like a G.
Oh, so you tried to do it stealthily, and what did you roll?
A 2.
When you walk in, you actually trip over the threshold of the door and fall face flat on the floor. Everybody in the place, there's a couple of guys playing cards in the corner, the bartender and one other guy at a table getting shit-faced. So the two guys in the corner that are arguing kind of glance over for a second and then immediately go back to the arguing. The guy that's at the table is passed out drunk, so he doesn't really move. He just kind of like gurgles a little bit and then goes back to sleep. And the bartender kind of cocks an eyebrow for a second before looking back to Lorna, who's now made her way to the counter. Vash, what are you going to do?
Probably play with the panda for a bit more. He's being needy, so...
then I think that covers everybody. So Cham, you're hiding, and everybody else is just kind of out in the open. So Lorna walks up to the counter and walks up to the man behind the counter, basically taps on the counter and puts down a couple gold pieces and slides them over to him. He asks what she'll have to drink, and she simply says ale, and lots of it. Are you guys also going to go up to the bar?
Might as well.
I'll take a place next to the woman and say, I'll have a water, please.
He pours you a glass of water. It looks a little bit dirty, but it's still water.
Immediately purify it with cleric powers.
The water is now purified. Basically, what happens after that point is the bartender gives out a few drinks here and there, and then he looks at all of you. So, what can I do for you lot?
I'm gonna look over at the woman like, yes, what are we doing here?
I have amnesia from being hit in the head way too hard, so I'm not going to say anything to...
What was her response when I asked her?
She says, information.
I'm gonna turn back to the bartender. Well, we're here for information, apparently, and you're the one who can provide it, else this little thing here is about to have a very bad day.
The bartender sort of does a little bit of a take and looks at all of you individually, giving kind of a hard look to everybody, especially you, because you're kind of a weird old hag-looking thing. Basically, he kind of looks over at all of you for a minute, and then kind of lifts an eyebrow. Well, you don't look like guards. I hate guards. So, we're having a little get-together tonight with a few of the local riffraff, and a couple of people are coming in from a few of the western towns, a few of the eastern towns, too. We're going to do a little, reconnaissance, sharing of information. Anything that maybe doesn't deserve to be in somebody's hands that we can take for our own and sell on a couple of places. So if you want to join us for, a night of a few pints and some stories, and maybe you'll get the information you want, you're more than welcome to. They should be showing up in about an hour. Then we'll go downstairs. Are you interested?
Sarah's gonna curl her teeth, like, just annoyed at the girl. You said there'd be something to do here other than more social... tell me, are we going to go on 6 different fetch quests before we get any fucking information?
I want to spot, see if there's like a drink on the counter that someone's not paying attention to.
Yeah, I was actually about to say that I'm gonna order a drink and, like, set it to the side of me for him.
Lorna paid enough gold up front where you guys can get enough drinks over the next hour. So, the bartender gives you a large flask of mead that he sets down directly in front of you.
I'm gonna wait till no one's looking.
Okay, roll perception.
Holy fuck. That boy knows the bar.
Did you roll a nat 20?
He did.
It's a nat 20, so you picked the perfect moment, so what are you going to do with that moment?
Launch my tongue, grab my drink.
Okay. Dexterity roll.
And
you rolled an 18. Yes. Your tongue shoots out, you grab the handle on the drink very quickly, and the drink shoots up into the rafters without anybody noticing. However, after that happens, the bartender turns around and looks at the counter and says, I knew you were going to drink the drink, but did you have to also eat the flask?
Mind your business.
You're going to pay for that.
I'll pay for something if you don't mind your damn business.
Okay, as long as it comes back, I don't care where it went.
I'm gonna wait till he turns around. I'm gonna flick a gold coin on the counter. +5. For a straight dexterity modifier, that's just +5.
That's still plenty. You're just throwing a coin on the counter. So yes, you throw a gold coin on the counter. When he's not looking and he turns around and looks at the gold coin, he thinks that Arch's character is the one that put it on the counter, and he smiles and takes it, and then turns around to go continue doing what he was doing, which was cleaning glasses.
Told you I'd pay for something.
Thank you kindly. Is there anything else you guys want to do outside of fucking with the bartender?
I'm gonna finish my drink and I'm just gonna leave the...
Alright, you leave the flask in the rafters. I'm sure somebody will find that when they're moving things eventually.
Okay. I'm gonna put like a little note on it and like jam a shuriken into it, into the fucking thing. Just like ribbit.
Okay, you do that. So after about an hour, the bartender turns around to you guys and says that the meeting is going to start shortly. He can hear the horses outside of the other Thieves Guild members that have just arrived, and he's going to open up the basement and begin with their little get-together. So he goes over to the back corner of the room behind where the drunk guy is still passed out on the table, and he moves a barrel out of the way, which reveals a hatch that goes down below into the basement. He opens the hatch and descends down. As he's about halfway down the hatch, he turns to you guys and says that you guys can come down whenever you want. The guys outside are going to probably go through the external hatch.
I rolled a 6 plus my 13. I'm going to go in there stealthily.
So yeah, he goes down the stairs and goes into the bottom room. So you sneak down there. Now the first thing you see is that it's basically kind of like, it's just a wooden ladder that goes up to that hatch that goes up onto the main floor. So once you get down there, there's a bunch of storage barrels. It's also the storage area for a lot of the liquor, beer barrels, wine barrels, whiskey barrels, that kind of thing that they use there and serve. There's barrels of dry goods and stuff. It's kind of a storage area / pseudo gathering place. There's a table in the middle of the room, and as you go down there, you also notice that the trading post owner is lighting up torches at various points in the room to give lighting. And there is an external door. The external door opens after a minute, and people are starting to come down into the room. Now, where specifically would you like to hide?
Do a search roll, see if there's any place I can hide at.
If you would like to, yes.
That's a 15.
Well, you notice that there, like I said, there's a lot of liquor barrels and dry goods barrels that are down there. You could probably very easily hide behind one of those, given your size. And then you could also hide kind of behind the ladder and behind some boxes and stuff in one of the other corners if you'd like. There's not really anywhere to hide above.
Okay, so that's a 15. So I'm gonna go behind one of the barrels.
Okay, you successfully move behind one of the barrels before the other Thieves Guild members descend from the exterior door, and you are now successfully hidden down there. Now, are the rest of you going to follow him down into the basement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Velnus, you going to go down as well?
Yeah.
Okay, Lorna is also going to go down with you guys. So all 4 of you guys go down into the basement. There are 3 gentlemen who come in from outside, and then there's also the bartender down there, and Cham is hidden in his little corner. Again, nobody knows that he is there. Now, as these Thieves Guild members come in, they kind of take seats around the table. There's some stools and stuff that the bartender brings out and kind of places around the table so you guys have places to sit. And as you guys sit down, the Thieves Guild members kind of look over, and one of them, kind of a grizzly-looking guy, looks over at all of you guys and looks at the bartender and says, "Who are these people? I never seen them before." And the bartender simply looks at him and says, "They're just here for information, Gregor. Information. Okay? Now, why don't you guys converse? I'll pour some drinks, and we'll have a little party down here. Nobody gets stabbed. Please, God, I don't want to clean up blood in here again." So, Gregor kind of looks at you guys on the other side of the table. "What do you want to know?"
Well, we want to know anything about a movement of a princess and, the general idea of where the dragons are and why you smell so poorly and, there's a lot of questions I have that can be answered.
For once, I actually agree with the hag.
Well, those are 3 questions. First question, princess. No idea. Second question, dragons. No idea. Third question, bathing. Showers cost money and not everybody out here has running water. And if you want to bathe in that river that's downstream from God knows what that those black scales are doing, you can go right ahead. It smells like sulfur.
Well, that'll tell us right now. All right, thank you.
Gregor kind of looks weirdly at you, and Lorna looks at him and basically says, "There was troop movement of black scales a few days ago. A large troop movement. One half of that troop went to Dragonsteel Quarry. The other half split off. Do you know about it?" Gregor then proceeds to look to the man to his right, and the man whispers something in his ear. Gregor then looks over and says, "Oi, we know. She was taken to Blackscale Palace. Is that your princess? In an armored car, surrounded by 200 Blackscale soldiers and a behemoth monster?"
That's very likely, yes.
"She was taken to Blackscale Palace. I don't know for what reason, but I know how to get in, if you'd like a hand, maybe."
In what sense?
Well, here's the thing. Your princess is in Blackscale Palace. Blackscale Palace is surrounded by the Blackscale Army. Thousands of Dragonborn stationed around that building. But I know a way to get in that makes it so you don't have to deal with any of that. I only have one condition. I go with you, and I get to steal some shit. All right, so he basically presents that option to you. Like, he will help you get into Blackscale Palace as long as you bring him along, so that he can, maybe get his hands on some valuable things that are located inside. Since basically what you know of Blackscale Palace is it used to be the regional government for the Fire Sand Wastes before the Blackscales took it over, murdered the king, his army, and then subjugated most of the continent.
Does anybody else have anything to say about this?
Raka or Velnos, you guys got any input?
Take the spoils of a few heathens.
Under the condition that we definitely know where he is, and we know what's going on and what he takes, then we'll be fine. Because the thing I'm worried about is it might be very lucrative for someone to inform the Blackscale army of a group of intruders trying to catch their prized possession.
You think I want to talk to the Blackscales? They'll decapitate me in a second. Hey, bartender, show him my picture. They took my portrait. Look at it. The bartender throws a little rolled-up scroll onto the table and slides it over to you. Do you open it?
Like, with absolute disgust, like just fingertips.
You open the scroll, and it appears to be a wanted poster that was put out by the Blackscales, and it has Gregor's picture on it. You do a very quick eye-to-eye comparison, and it is basically identical. You think I want to talk to them when they want my head on a pike?
It looks like they got your nose wrong. I don't know what kind of
they
deal you might have made, but
they
for now, I'll
wrong.
accept it.
They didn't get it wrong. It's been broken since that picture was done. They just never updated it.
Well, regardless, I think it seems agreeable for now.
Very good, then. He basically asked the bartender to go get a small map that is located behind him in a couple of barrels. He then goes up to the table and rolls the scroll out. On the scroll, you see what appears to be a floor plan of the palace, or in more clear light, it looks to be a semi-floor plan. But there is what looks like a piece of the actual diagram, because it's kind of built out like a blueprint or a floor plan. And there's a portion of it that looks like it stretches well beyond the palace and out to what appears to be a tower. It's a very small little byway that goes from the castle to this other tower. And Gregor explains that years and years ago, there were watchtowers that dotted around the lake that surrounds the back end of the Blackscale Palace. And under that lake, there was actually an emergency tunnel so that if anybody had to, they could get to a tower that is on the opposite side of that lake. Now, that tower has since been destroyed and is in ruins. However, that tunnel still exists because most people do not know about it since it was erased from a lot of the building's designs after a certain point so people wouldn't get wind of it. But now, since he seems to have a posse of people that can go in there who look like they can handle themselves, it might be a good enough opportunity to get in. You would also be entering into the basement of the building.
Well, it sounds amenable to me, as long as everyone else is aboard.
There is somewhat honor among thieves, so...
Okay, so you're good with it, Raka?
As I said, I have no problem harming the heathens.
Gregor basically says that the best time that you're going to be able to go in there is probably at night, because the scouts are not going to spot you approaching the tower at night, and they don't readily leave guards near it either. Most of the guards are concentrated around the actual castle, since they don't really know that that tunnel exists.
Do they have anything, because thieves so often do find themselves equipped with such interesting things, do they happen to have anything for sale?
Gregor points to the bartender, who also acts as the fence for this particular Thieves Guild outpost, and he simply looks at you and says, "What are you looking for?"
Well, let's say we have some friends who might need some forms of daggers that might be better, perhaps slightly magically in tune, or perhaps some poisons, there's a lot of things that you might need to kill literally everyone in between you and a captive princess.
The bartender rubs his chin for a little bit, and after that he goes behind him, pulls a chest out from in between a couple of barrels. The chest has a very large padlock on it. He then proceeds to unlock the padlock and open the chest. And he kind of pushes it over to the table so that you can see what's inside. As you look inside of it, it appears to be a bunch of short swords, daggers, things like that. Nothing that really stands out for the most part, but he goes in and grabs a particular set that he then picks up and places on the table. It's a set of 2 daggers, and they both appear to have a kind of intricate, like, leafy design on them. He looks over at everybody. He looks more specifically at Velnos and says, I believe these are from your people. They're particularly adept at slitting throats. At least the person that sold them to me said so.
Let me have a look at them.
Okay, he moves the daggers towards you so you can get a better look at them. Roll a appraisal check would probably be the correct one for this, because you're trying to gauge something on an item.
So that would be appraise.
While he's doing that, I'm going to detect magic on the blades.
So I'll do your thing in a second. Now, Velnos, as you look at the blades, the only thing you really do notice is that it is an elvish design. Classic one, actually. It's from native elves. Not something that was crafted by like a half-elf blacksmith or something like that to look like it. It does look legitimate from the outside. Arch, you do your detect magic. You do detect a weak form of magic coming from the daggers, and it looks like, from based on what you're able to detect, it is some kind of a bleed magic, but you're not sure what that exactly does. You just know that it seems to be something that reacts to blood.
It's a consecration magic. Okay, understood.
Sort of a test run then. See what happens.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do a small cut on my palm. See what the fuck happens.
Okay. You take the blade and lightly cut your palm with it, enough to get the edge of the blade coated with blood. Once the blade is coated, the intricate leafy designs on it begin to glow with what looks like white light. And after a point, then you notice that there appears to be a form of cold coming from the blade. It starts getting very, very cold. Cold to the point where if you put your hand on it, it will actually burn it with frost.
Oh, interesting. It's a blood-activated curse blade. Isn't that nice?
I'm keeping it. Fuck you.
Oh, I don't care. I thought maybe for the frog, he does love to work with daggers on occasion. How much are they?
Well, I could part with them for 30 gold.
Oh, absolutely.
They
And I'm going to pass the gold over.
Okay, you pay him 30 gold, and he gives you both of the daggers. He smiles a little bit and says, It was a gift from an old friend, so keep them safe, would you? And slit a lot of throats with them. That's the only thing he made me promise.
Oh, I'll guarantee they'll do that.
He winks at you and then closes the chest and pushes it back to the point it was after he puts the padlock back on it and puts the key back in his pocket.
I'm just eyeing those daggers.
Immediately, I am going to pop a sending spell, which is a 3rd level spell, no less, to somebody that I know, which is Curtis, up on wherever he happens to be, about that particular chest, and keeping this guy on the side if he can manage to get to it. I'm gonna send the message like, pay close attention to where he puts the chest. Wow!
Ouch. Alright, so you rolled a 1. So, Cham, what was that for? To try and sneak and get to the...
Yeah.
So what is that with your modifier?
With modifier, plus 13.
So you still rolled a 1, so I gotta have something happen. So as you sneak over to where it is, you do knock over a broom, and that kind of alerts everybody, and the bartender looks over and says, the goddamn cat! I told that bloody animal to get out of here until the daytime when he can go hunt mice.
You have a cat in here.
So you are not caught, so you do make it over because you did roll a 13 technically. So you're near enough to that where they still can't see you. You're behind the barrels, but they heard a noise in your direction. So if you fuck up again, they're probably going to notice you.
Okay.
Cham, you're in position right next to the chest, so what are you going to roll at this point? It should be sleight of hand.
That's a 17 then.
So you managed to unlock the chest. So the chest is unlocked. Now you're going to have to also do another sleight of hand to reach in and take anything out that you would like. Now keep in mind, the most valuable thing that was in there from based on what you saw originally was the daggers that you now own.
That's a 26.
Do you have a bag of holding, by the way?
Yes I do.
What are you going to steal out of there specifically?
I just want to steal everything.
Okay.
That's a plus 11, so that's a 26.
Okay, you empty that thing into your bag of holding. So you now have a bag of holding that's full of swords and daggers. So nobody was able to notice this because you rolled high enough and then stole all of his weapons, and you bought the only ones that were really actually valuable to you.
Oh, I'm just gonna stay in there. And
Everybody else already agreed to go with Gregor, so I'm going to fast forward that a little bit. So Gregor invites you guys out to travel with him there that evening because the sun is starting to go down now, so you guys can probably get there. It's going to be probably like a 4 or 5 hour ride to get to where the actual dilapidated tower is. So
I'm gonna go up to Sarah and like, hey, daggers.
Of course, I pass one to him and one to our other friend who loved them so much. I believe they have some kind of blood consecration curse that caused them to do more cold damage after they've been immersed in blood.
Gregor loads up on his horse and invites all you guys to ride behind him. The 2 other Thieves Guild members ride off, so it's literally just you guys and him. He then rides in the front to lead you guys to the tower.